You're listening to the Frame100 podcast, a show by Brickfilmers for Brickfilmers.
And welcome to the Frame100 podcast, your exclusive place for Ideal to Die For updates. You're listening to Season 1, Episode 10 of the show. I'm Chris, known as Brick Productions, here with Sam, aka Locker74 Productions.
The mustache is back, baby.
Woo! You're under arrest. And Marcus, aka Brick Hat Studios.
FBI, open up!
Oh, we're off to a great start.
I just spit my Dr. Pepper
So
out.
it's always a riot with you gentlemen here. Oof. Yes, this is probably the most glorious return since Dylan Woodley's Bimpson, which isn't technically a brick film, so I don't know what in the world is going on with that sort of comeback. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Just got done with a walk with my pup, so had a good break. Missed you guys.
Ned!
Yeah, she's sleeping on the floor right now.
It's good to have you back.
That's good.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast. I got some words to
Ned,
say
we
about
love
y'all
you.
dissing LAIKA like that, but we'll get to that here in a few minutes.
That and we will, because we goofed. We made a couple of mistakes.
We done
We also
messed up,
made some comments people thought were mistakes, but at the same time they're not. So first off, I want to thank our listeners for helping us get LAIKA and Aardman unconfused. First, I want to highlight Nick Douglas's comment here on YouTube. He says, LAIKA's filmography is Coraline, 2009, 2012, Paranorman. A little comment says, sorry, Trevor. 2014, The Box Trolls, 2016, Kubo and the Two Strings, and 2019, Missing Link. We also found out on Wikipedia that LAIKA also helped with Corpse Bride, but it was a contract work with Tim Burton. And on top of that, I have a string of comments here from Sebastian, who is a listener of the podcast. Thanks for helping clear this up, Sebastian. He did diss us for preferring Box Trolls over Coraline, but I think that's just an opinion thing, if we're being fully honest there. But he also mentioned that The Nightmare Before Christmas was made by Burton's production company, and afterwards he sold that to Henry Selick. And Selick would go on to make James and the Giant Peach, but unfortunately the film flopped and the company ended. And he also highlighted that Corpse Bride was produced by LAIKA, but not made by them. Okay. So thank you for clearing it up, Sebastian. Really appreciate that. I think for a podcast that talks about animation, we should probably get animation stuff right.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wasn't even here for that, so I don't know why I'm apologizing. Chris, Marcus, get it together.
I think if you were here, Sam, we would have been good from the get-go.
Maybe not.
Sam would have been on our butts.
Yeah.
Bam.
Or what I'm guessing is that Ned is the real stop-motion nerd, and you're just a cover for her.
I mean, she eats bricks, and then she makes art out of it, so yeah.
Dude, 10 out of 10, that has to be a skit.
Next fact.
Ned makes a
eating
brick film.
the Lego bricks with, editing right there. Just cut that up.
Next fact, we'll do a Dr. Scar where Ned eats Dr. Scar, and then he comes back. All right, that was pretty gross. All right. So, I have some comments to make on the comments you guys made the last episode about LAIKA. First off, how dare you diss LAIKA like that, guys?
Hey, I clearly admitted that my perception of LAIKA was based off of one bad childhood experience. Don't you give me that look that the audience can't see because this is audio.
It's a very creepy... this mustache isn't helping us stare. So...
It really isn't.
First off, I like LAIKA's films better than Aardman. Is that what it's called? Aardman? Yeah.
Oh, snap.
I like Chicken Run. Don't get me wrong. It was my first introduction into stop motion stuff. But that film alone for me is not enough to say it's better than LAIKA. LAIKA's films for me. I agree with Jared. Some of the stories are hit or miss, but the animation's always really good for me. I mean, Box Trolls, it's probably one of my favorites of LAIKA besides Kubo. Kubo is probably my favorite, as it is for everybody's. But Box Trolls, good story, good animation. Yeah, and fun fact, back when I was in college, I actually applied to be a animation intern for him for a summer.
How'd that work out?
I got rejected almost immediately, but I tried.
See, this is why I'm Team Ardman.
Hey, it's okay. My animation was not good in college. Are you kidding me? But
Hey, that's at least you put in the effort to apply. Gotta do that. Gotta start somewhere.
I made an animation.
That is true.
I made my animation reel. I did a resume, and didn't get it, but still. And I don't know. I just feel like LAIKA as a company, for me anyway, it feels like a well-rounded company because they've got their own visual effects people, they've got their own puppetry people, and I'm sure Aardman does too. But see, I don't know much about Aardman. Like I know about Wallace and Gromit. Yeah, I know about them, but not a whole lot. But LAIKA for me is more of a childhood thing because it kind of made me want to get into animation more than I do. So those are my comments. The other comment was, for those of you who are dissing Coraline, how dare you?
I don't think I've mentioned
Again,
anything about Coraline because
it
I've
was a
never seen
traumatic
it. So
experience.
I don't know if I did it. If I did, I apologize.
It is creepy, but it is a good introduction, scary movie for children, for like teenage, maybe elementary kids, maybe early middle school. It's a good introduction to scary movies, not horror, because horror's got a negative connotation to it.
Are you
Big
winning,
words.
Dad?
Big
Yeah, it's true. See, when I think of horror, I think of deadlines that are never reached.
When I think of
I'm just
horror,
gonna let it simmer for a little bit.
I think of Trev's A Deal to Die For film.
That's 2 jokes we've made already. He's not here to defend himself, and that's pretty hilarious.
That's true.
Hear that, Trev? I'm sure you're gonna listen to this. Speaking of which,
There we go.
let's-
Yeah, Jared and Trev are on vacation right now.
yeah, let's well, Trev started school this week, so he's a little bit busy with that, which is fair. I mean, I was busy at college too, so we're not mad at Trevor. He's got adult things he's doing. Jared has no excuse. He's just not here.
I hope.
He's probably arguing with somebody on Twitter about Star Wars.
Yeah,
so
that's
all
true.
out.
He's
That is
been very active on Twitter lately, and it's making my whole week. So, since Trevor's not here, I have an idea, a little game for everybody to play.
I love games.
So, Trevor will not tell us what A Deal to Die For is about. So, we are going to make up our own guesses on what we think it's about from everything we've seen, which is, keep in mind, barely anything.
Like 3 frames.
Like 3 frames, and I did 2 lines of voice acting in it. So, we're going to play a game, and we're going to each take turns and figure out what it's about. Now, we've talked about this before, but I'm going to keep mine PG, because mine answer would not be PG. So, Chris, guess away.
All right. Well, I mean, I know how the sequel goes. There's 2 sandwiches, and she eats the... I'm kidding. No. What I'm guessing, because we know it revolves around a family. We know there's a kid involved who seems to be the highlight. We've seen him running through the house, and we've seen Trevor's pretty intricate layout of the house. What I'm guessing is that this family has somehow made some sort of deal to be where they are, to improve their life somehow. But they made a deal with the absolute wrong person. It gets twisted around. Now they're on the run. Thing is, though... Okay, so... Actually, no, I probably shouldn't ask you what 2 lines you voiced.
I won't.
Because it'll probably
I don't wanna
spoil
run
it.
it. Trev.
That's just giving it away at that point.
Yeah. At that point, he'll come back, he'll murder us, and then we'll be the die for in this deal. But honestly, that's my best guess. You all have already seen my parody guess.
I have.
So yeah, there we go. I'm pretty sure that's what the central theme is going to be around. Who the deal is with, I don't know. What kind of deal it was, I don't know. But I'm guessing it's something revolving around this family, and it directly affects the kid. Maybe the parents, like, they get in on the wrong end. They're already toast, and now we're following this kid as, like, the house becomes basically a living death trap or something. I don't know for sure.
It's a good guess. Marcus, what do you think?
I wish I'd paid more attention to his set design back at Brickfilm last year, but based off off of Chris's speculation, the more I think about it, it could be like a horror film of like that classic where like the family moves into a house because they got a good deal out of it, but then the house is haunted or something. Because 6 hours ago on Trev's Twitter page, he posted an image of a bat, and I jokingly said 10 out of 10 Trev called Corona. He caught it. He just never told anyone about it for the past like 2 years.
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
That is pretty
Thanks,
good.
Trev. That was the deal, and we're all to die
Day
for.
four.
Yep, there you go.
Was the
That
bat
was
was
dark.
bat soup really worth it?
Crap. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to cut that out.
I mean,
okay,
I don't know.
I'm gonna.
We got
Oh my gosh.
we got a bat and we got a mummy in the back, along with
Oh, I didn't notice that.
bottle and a bone, 2 bones, and it's there's a do not open. I think I see the letters E10, and I think it's do not open. He takes out
Well,
the bat.
We're gonna have to go.
Hmm.
We're gonna have to go look at that frame one more time.
So
Yeah.
look, Trev, this is what you've done to us. This is what you've done to the whole brick film community. What I especially love, I've got to pull up Trev's tweet here, is that our man, Nick Douglas, aka God's Gift to Earth, he commented on Trev's tweet, and he's all, looks like progress is being made.
I love
Oh,
Sam's
Nick,
gift.
I'm loving your optimism. I'm loving it.
And I responded back with a "for now" gift from The Dark Knight Rises. So
For now.
And then
I.
blows
I'm-
up 80. At the end
So-
of die for a set.
So now it's my turn to try and guess. So what I think it is, it's a story of a family that. I mean, I know I have lines from the movie, so I'm gonna try and ignore those. Even that, it's not a lot. But what I think it is, it's a family that, like I agree with Marcus. They moved into a house, and one of the family members dies for some reason. Like, don't know why. Like, and all of a sudden, Satan shows up and is like, "Hey, fam, want me to bring your so and so back to life?" Be like, "Hell yeah, let's do it!" And then it shows up and it's like, "Oh, that's a zombie."
Pun intended.
Yeah, and the zombie shows up and starts eating people, and then they're like, "Oh man, we gotta kill the person. How are we gonna do this? Oh, I know. Here's a bat. We'll have the bat bite the zombie. The zombie will be like, "Oh man, is this a corona bat?" Be like, "Yeah, fam." And they're like, "Oh, well, I guess I have to put a ventilator on or go into the hospital." Be like, "You can't, man. You're dead." Be like, "Oh, that's right."
This is horrible.
And then
I apologize to everybody right now.
the entire family dies because they weren't wearing masks.
Wait. You okay? What you said reminds me of a story. Have you guys heard about like the monkey's paw or like the legend
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, it's the isn't it?
I haven't. Please
is it a
recap for
movie
me.
or is it a story?
It's a story. It's like a fairy tale kind of book.
Okay, so it's a monkey's paw, and you take a wish, but whatever happened, isn't it like there's like a two-sided coin. One, if you wish for something good, something bad will happen to somebody else. Or it's like you make a wish.
Something like that.
So what I remember it being like is, at least what I remember it being like, what I've heard it's like is you have so many wishes. You have
Spoilers,
like 5
by the
wishes.
way, for the story.
Yeah, sorry. Spoiler warning. You have 5 wishes, and then you wish for something. And if something goes bad because of that wish, do you use your next wish to fix that wish? Or do you use that wish to gain something else? No.
So, if I remember the story correctly, this family, the first wish is they wish to have like a lot of wealth, money, right?
Yeah.
So they got like a big check in the mail, except the only reason why they got that big check is because their only child died in the factory that he worked in.
Oh shit, there's a spider in my room.
Oh, that's the deal. It's to die for. Ned, do your job.
And then their second wish was to bring back their son, but they didn't say how. The son literally came back as a zombie.
Ah.
And the family got
it's like
scared.
one of
And then
those
the third
careful
wish,
what you wish
third
for
wish was to
deals.
wish it go back away. And all 3 wishes were used up like that.
Well,
Okay.
that's better than my story.
So maybe Trev's story is based off that. I'm not too sure, but it's a good story. I love it.
So I'm gonna have to read that. I'm looking at reading more.
I think
books.
that's gonna be one of the themes, though. I think that's gonna be one of the themes, though, in the movie. Is like just be careful what you wish for, just generally.
Yeah.
Or decorate for Halloween with this weird font that I can barely read.
Oh yeah, that Trev.
JK, love you, Trev.
Trev, we need to talk about that font, man, because I'm having a stroke trying to read it.
At least it's consistent, though. Like, I can tell it's a Deal to Die For post because it's barely legible.
It's also got hashtag. It's also got the hashtag a deal to die for. So,
don't forget.
Okay, that's true. If we're gonna split hairs here,
what is it? Don't forget to decorate.
Sheesh.
Don't forget to decorate.
Yep.
Trev, it's not.
Oh,
for Halloween.
It's not Halloween.
I'm also guessing it takes place around Halloween because he's always wanted to do a Halloween release, but he's only got so many Halloweens until the sun burns out, so he better hurry up.
That could be.
Trev.
Oh, is he hinting towards when it's going to get released?
Really, actually.
Is he hinting? Is he hinting at when it's going to get released? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
He just picked a deadline, didn't he? Imagine, like, in the far future, archaeologists are going through the remains of human civilization, and they find all of Trev's tweets, and it's like, man, where is the Deal to Die For? They spend years trying to find it, only to realize that he never finished it.
The biggest mystery in the entire Brickfilm community.
No, like, in film history. Like, we're talking, like, thousands of years. Nobody's heard of Marvel. Star Wars, what's Star Wars? Nobody cares. Let It Go is stuck in nobody's heads. The last remaining remnant of any film from before the year 3000 is a Deal to Die For, and we cannot find it.
Okay, so what I was saying before something went wrong. I think the whole marketing thing with us making jokes and memes about Deal to Die For is really helping Trev kind of get his film out there, and I'm excited for it to come because I think it's good for him because his channel's been not very active, and I think that's just because he's been in college and hasn't been busy. Hasn't been busy. Hey, he's been busy with classes, getting stuff done. So I think once his film's done, he can kind of relax. But I am gonna miss the memes.
And to be fair, like if we're really being honest with ourselves, Trev's filmography is kind of par of the course for a lot of Brickfilmers. I think of like a lot of the big names in Bricks in Motion where they're there for Thack, they're there for Brawl, they have one big release throughout the whole year, and for the most part, they're fairly dormant. Like I know, trying to think of names off the top of my head, and I'm sure this is where Sebastian or Penta will comment and be like, "Well, here's a list."
I really think
we're awesome archivers that way.
I think I fall into that category. I really think I do because
That's true.
I don't do Brawl. I've never really had an interest in Brawl, but like I'll do Thack, I'll do contests every once in a while. But Ace Brickman's really my big thing, and it takes me 5-6 months to get an episode done of that. And this one's longer because there's more stuff to do in it. But I think, I'd say we give him a lot of crap, but I think that's just because we know it's going to be good. So
yeah.
I mean, also
No,
if we didn't give him crap, he wouldn't think we didn't like him. So there's that. But I'm excited for it to be finished. So yeah.
Plus, I'm thinking of Marcus over here sliding by with a Thack film, and word about another film that we haven't seen anything about.
Hey! I did post that one frame on Twitter.
Oh, one frame on Twitter. That's how it all starts. That's how it all starts.
He is doing better.
I actually have
he is competing with Trev right now for the most Twitter posts about his brick film. So
I have 10 shots, maybe 12 shots. So hopefully I can get that done soon.
Let's slow down on those shots.
Hang on, what's the working title so I can make the two sandwiches version to make fun of you?
I actually don't know yet. I think.
Perfect. I actually don't know yet. 2 free sandwiches. Let's go.
Boom.
I think the working title is gonna be like
the Big Rona.
No. What it's like going to a restroom in 2020.
Oh, that'd be good.
Or something like that.
I like it. It's got that sort of I guess modern animator story time sort of vibe to it.
Yeah.
That'll attract some attention. Other options include a man has fallen into the big Rona in Lego City. No. I will say this. I feel like I've got immunity from a lot of these "when's this coming out" tweets because like I continually just post crap, so
He does.
I don't know what to expect. Therefore, you can't ask me to expect anything.
I'm gonna have to add the dragon frame, but Chris is the ultimate poster on YouTube in the animation community.
Thank you. Please,
Like,
no autographs at this time.
Just for everybody to know, in our group chat, his like title is literally poster.
Yes,
Like,
the ultimate.
literally.
And he just I think I've said this in the past episode, but whenever Chris like mentions an idea about doing something, so I'd be like, "Oh, I'm thinking about making this brick film." We're like, "You could do it." It's like, "All right," and then 2 weeks later, it's done, and it's like, "Oh, okay, well." So, so since we were talking about animation, I'm gonna segue into this real quick. What is your guys' least favorite part of animation? I mean, we all have our favorites. I mean, mine's animation. I mean, I don't know what everybody else's is, but okay, let's start with that. Chris, what's your favorite part of animation? Just one word.
Shoot. Nope, that's not my word. I mean writing.
Writing? I mean, shoot could be shooting the animation, but
I know that's not what I would imply. Shooting animation is actually my least favorite part, honestly.
No.
I know I'm gonna get so much flack for that. I'm a brick filmer. It's literally like the bread and butter of what we do. I enjoy it, but I really like I like story writing first off because I feel like I can do some really fun stuff. And I've always been a writer for like the longest time. I got a novel series I've been working on. It's never going to release ever, so that's kind of fun. And then also like with editing, I've been really enjoying VFX. I've kind of gotten to the point now where people ask, and instead of saying, "Oh, I animate," I say, "Oh, I do effects work, a little bit of CGI here and there." It's technically true. Like, I've quite enjoyed it. But with animation itself, I second guess a lot of things. I rush things because I just want to get things out there. I think one of the benefits of the way I film is that I can make really chaotic things really quickly, but I know that I have to develop the mindset to do something very intricate and detailed, like on the level of, say, Chihuahua or Zach Macias or Annoying Noises. I can't think like in that regard because I have a hard time. This is really hard to describe. Okay, if I'm shooting at 15 frames per second, I have a really hard time trying to figure out how many frames should correspond to the actual time it takes to do something.
No.
Like if it takes me half a second to make a step, that should be 7 frames in my head, but the walk cycle for my minifigure falls around 4 or 5.
So you're like trying to actually calculate it.
Exactly. And honestly, I might be overthinking. A lot of people might just be like, "Dude, you don't need to do that." But like that's kind of how I think. I'm very numerical in that regard.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what makes it tricky for me and why I like really like rapid chaotic movements, because not only can I make it come off as comedic, but it doesn't require me to plan a whole bunch of really small motions in between.
Yeah.
So that's my struggle in a nutshell.
See, I'm the exact opposite. Marcus, what's your favorite?
Favorite? Honestly, I love the entire process, but if I were to pick out the one aspect, I think it's actually shooting. I really, really enjoy like just moving it one by one, and then when it's done, like literally the other day I shot like 120 frames, and that took like maybe an hour, 30 minutes to an hour before I had to go to work, and I just loved the way it moves. Along with the like ease in, ease out.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
Would you say so much like making it or like seeing it after you're done? I don't know, I might
seeing
be
it after you're done. I've always enjoyed that. It's
Yeah.
like all the hard work you put in, and then it's like, oh, this looks great. I love it. But you know what isn't great? When the minifigures fall down.
Oh,
Yeah, I hate that. I have that.
Or when it's like I make the sets, Like I make the sets, right? I'm like, okay, cool. I like the set. And then when I'm starting to animate, I'm like, this is too small for my fingers to put him in. Like I can't. There's like that. Like the wall's right here, and then the minifigure's right there, but I can't put my hand in between that wall, and I'm just like, ah.
Yeah, I'm that way.
Yes.
You struggle from the same thing I do, fat fingers. It's okay.
Yes.
We all do it.
I had that problem with my Brawl entry. It was actually the character you voiced, Sam, the totally legitimate Ninjago art connoisseur.
The best
And
character
I
of the
couldn't
entire
get
animation.
my hands. Absolutely, most non-sketchy dude there. But I couldn't fit my hand in that one stall, and I really wanted that stall because it comes from the set. And the way I kind of built around it, it felt like one of those vendors in like Lego Universe. So I liked the set too much to design it otherwise. And so I ended up doing, I figured this would play into kind of the sketchiness of his character. I just made like really stiff and just like rock back and forth and then have him flop over and spin around and like look like he was having some sort of glitched out aneurysm or something. I feel like that was the best way I could have done that. But if it was like, if I wanted to actually legitimately animate him as if he were a real person, I would not have been able to do that in that small space.
Yes, yeah, that's the issue I'm having right now with Ace Brickman. Because, one of the stuff I'm going to have to do here pretty soon is in a tent. And, yes, Ned, a tent. The hardest thing the way the set is going to be is it's going to be like a tent, like an army tent, and I have to have that shadow there to give that illusion. And
that's going to be a fairly difficult scene to animate because it's going to be intense.
Oh my god. So anyway,
No, it's the struggles too.
So I'm trying to. I don't know how to move on from that. That was a bad pun.
You can't.
Actually, that was pretty clever. But no, it's just right for me. It's trying to find because I usually do like modular style with I have to have a roof on it. But with it being like just the 1x1 tubes, the stud things to hold up the tent, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that without it looking like I'm taking it off and on all the time. And I think that's
now,
what
question.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead. got a little detail to ask you about.
And I think whenever brick films have roofs on it, it's really kind of cool because it kind of gives that feeling of realism. Like I did that with my Skyfall recreation that's on my Twitter. I had a roof on it and it works, but you also have to find a way to get around that, to get around having to take the roof off and put it back on. And I know when we talked to Gary, what was it, 2 years ago, a year ago?
Yeah, about a year ago.
He talked about he had a mechanism to where he just pulled it out, moved it, and then put it back in. And I think that was probably the coolest thing, but I feel like it's hard for a lot of brick filmers to try and figure that out when they don't have a lot of pieces. So that's gonna be the hardest thing for me.
I kind of want to try that actually.
Yeah.
I feel like what I could do is I could build a mechanism where it pulls back the roof. I go a step further and hook it up to my Mindstorms NXT and just make it like click a button, pulls the roof back with those motors. Click the button, pulls the roof back down with the motors. I don't know, this off the top of my head. What I was going to ask is with those tents, are you using brick built tents or are you using like the cloth pieces like in the Indiana Jones set or the City Jungle sets?
Interesting.
Brick built.
Okay. That'll be a lot easier because
I mean,
there's the sword duel set from the Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull sets.
Yeah.
But it's like this cloth tent. And what I found with that is as I'm building mocks or whatever, if I bump it, it creates a crease in the fabric that you just can't get back to what it was originally, which is very annoying.
So if any of the listeners have watched Band of Brothers, I'm kind of taking something from like the market garden scene where they're doing the briefing underneath the tent. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about that. Because, I mean, it's supposed to be like an entire regiment of people. And I think I've got an idea how to do it, but I'm trying to figure out how to get around that, having to put a roof on it and not make it look like I'm moving it every time. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And I think that's one of the issues I can see a lot of animators would have when they do brick films is trying to figure out how to get things to move, to like access the figures without bumping anything else. And I know I bump stuff all the time. There's more masks in my animation than I can count. Just because I've had to, do that. I've had to go in and get a frame that's clean to overlay it. And I feel like everybody has that issue, whether you're, Zach Macias or you're, I guess, me. We all have that issue. So I feel like that's one of the hardest things for me when I'm animating is trying to figure out how to not bump things. And I've discovered that using a toothpick helps, but sometimes
I didn't think about that. Sometimes
the toothpick can be even worse than trying to not bump it, because the toothpick can move things you don't mean to. So I think that's just trying to find the way that works for you. That's my only thing I don't like about the animation part. Now, sound design, I hate sound design. You guys know that. But
that is true.
I think thank you, Chris. My sound design sucks. I know, everybody can say it.
No, your sound design's great, but the thing is, I can tell you actively don't enjoy the process.
I don't. I never have.
And I agree. The only time I ever enjoyed it was, again, my Ninjago Brawl entry, because the goal was to make everything sound 8-bit, so there were no actual sound effects. It was all done with this little program called SFXR, I think that's what it's called. So I would just generate random, chiptune little sounds and throw them in, and that was fun, because it was very different from what I've done before.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I'm going to take that back. That, and then the Half-Life film, because all the sound effects were there for me. And instead it became kind of a puzzle of making it sound almost exactly like the game. One of my favorite parts about that, and stop me if I go down this tangent about Half-Life lore, because it's very dangerous. But in the very beginning, after Gordon Freeman's walk cycle, he's just standing there. If you listen in the background, you can hear this maniacal laughing. And it's because in the level, at different points, you hear a character named Father Grigori. He's laughing maniacally as he's taking out headcrab zombies. And that was one of my favorite little details there, was because I didn't want to put Father Grigori into the film and then have to try and incorporate his voice acting, because that would have been painful. But I wanted to acknowledge it's still Ravenholm, so I could just throw in that little sound, and if you catch it, you're like, hey, I know what this guy's doing. Just little things like that make me so happy.
Yeah, see, I'm not into the little subtle things. And I'm trying to get better about that. My Fright and Fear entry, I think it's probably the best sound design I've done in a film I'm releasing soon. But I've got Trev helping me with sound design because he's a nut for sound design. Literally.
This is true.
Literally, he's a nut for sound design. But I don't know. There's just something about it that I just don't enjoy. And I don't know if it's because I'm very minimal when it comes to my sound design. And I think for me, it's also trying to find the sounds. Because I can't...
That's the kicker for me. I feel like, Marcus, so for your film, you're just coughing into a microphone for most of it.
Yeah, that's what I did for the last one, actually. This current one that I'm doing.
Look, that's perfect right there. Thing is, though, you don't want to cough too well.
Right.
You want to be able to go into restaurants.
About that. No,
Oh my gosh.
The only time I've enjoyed sound design was probably from my Pokemon Go video. But honestly, I think the one part of sound design that I don't like, and this is just me, but recently I'm starting to dislike footsteps.
Yeah,
I agree.
I can feel that.
Because you don't hear footsteps in real life unless it's actually when you do sound design, it's actually part of the film, diegetics, if it's part of the world or if it's outside, music and all that. It has to mean something in the film. Why are we hearing it,
Yeah. See, I've always felt that way. I feel like if, at least for Ace Brickman, they're in a muddy part of World War II, so I feel like having the sound design there is important. But some of the other stuff, I agree. The footsteps, I don't get. I understand you want to try and immerse yourself in that world with that footstep, but I agree. I agree with that statement. So maybe that's something I need to take out is the footsteps.
The introduction of a character is fine. If somebody's running and he's out of frame and going into the frame, then yeah, I guess it works.
I think again, with my Half-Life film, the footsteps there worked great because they're the files directly from the game, and no matter where you are in the game, well, I guess unless you're swimming, you hear the footsteps. So I feel like that would work. And like when we did our Minecraft films too, I feel like that was a case where we need the footsteps because you're always hearing the footsteps in Minecraft, and they're often a good indicator to the player about what you're stepping on, or if you're someone's running or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're just doing like a general walk cycle to open up your film, it's probably not the end of the world if you don't have footsteps.
Yeah, but
I used to grab like all the Lego Island 2 footstep sounds when I made films because I felt like that was the closest to what a minifigure would actually sound like, and even then they were horrible. I've since abandoned those.
see, I'm the same way with my footsteps. Is they're very clicky, and I feel like if you try to get like actual sound effects, like footstep on hardwood floor or a footstep in mud, they're very quick, and it's hard to try and get those to match up with your walk cycle. At least with my walk cycle. So yeah, animating walk cycles and adding the footsteps in it, that's a no-go from me. I'm not a fan of that, but it's crucial for the film, I guess. Maybe. So,
Well, depending on the part.
yeah.
What could make for a really interesting experiment, I'm kind of tempted to try it because now I know how to use the reference video feature. Actually, I'll quickly do a quick tangent on this because this was brought up. One of our hashtag Frame100 comments was from the Four Monkeys, specifically Dave. He says, "Hey, hashtag Frame100. I think I've said this a few times here and there, but I rarely use onion skinning. I loop last frame almost all the time. And to learn how to use the reference video feature, it's super easy to use. Helps to have the same frame rate as the reference video rate." I talked a little bit about the onion skinning. We can revisit this if we like. But that idea of having the same frame rate as the reference video makes me think maybe how I solve my animation problem and how we solve our footstep problem is using reference video in Dragonframe. So you can match up with actual footsteps that you've recorded, and you can get the pacing at the same time. But at the same time, I'm also wondering, is that a lot of overkill for a quick walk cycle? But again, we all know what Austin would say about walk cycles, right?
Yeah. I feel like it'd be a good experiment. I feel like you could try it, but
Is video reference something in Dragonframe 4?
yes.
Yeah, we talked about it pretty extensively on the last podcast. I dropped off it's pages 69 and 70 because I've been referencing them repeatedly. Also, a funny internet number, haha. But you go in there and you can add in your reference video. I'm currently working on a Ninjago Brickfilm, which is probably going to make all the Harumi stands mad again. But I've been using my reference video of me talking through it, sort of like in a storytime format, to guide the animation process. Because I can't remember exactly what parts I want to be animated, and what parts I kind of want them to be just kind of idling as I explain something. So that feature's come in very handy. And at the same time, it makes me think, if we're already syncing with sound in Dragonframe, it'd also be good to sync with a reference video.
So yeah,
Like I said before, I'd love to do some music videos. And if I ever do a music video for, a band that I really like, I would love to put in reference footage of that band, because a lot of vocalists, they have very distinct movements when they're singing. I know Red, for example, their two guitarists have the signature guitar spin move that I would love to replicate in Lego. For all that, I want reference footage. I'm not doing that without it.
Yeah, I used reference video for my Skyfall recreation, and it helped. I mean, it really helped. And I feel like if you're doing like I just did a stitching effect with episode 3, where I took 2 different video, and then I stitched together in After Effects. So I think the reference video comes in handy when you're doing stuff like that. If you're doing effects heavy stuff where you have to mask stuff out and put it in, I think that comes in really handy. And I think there's a lot of community, a lot of channels that do recreations in Lego. So I feel like having the reference option could help those channels too, if they use Dragonframe. I know quite a few people don't, but I'm sure any of your videos, any of your frame capture software has a video assist with it. So
Unfortunately, I'm still using Dragonframe 3 here. I haven't upgraded yet.
I think
it's upgrade.
So you
the
really
one thing
should.
as well that I found out, if you pull up YouTube and you use the it's the comma and dot button, which also have the little arrows on them, You use it to go frame by frame through a YouTube video, which I find is very helpful.
I found that out. That's how I figured out how to do the paper fold stuff.
Yeah.
Is by going onto like Keshin's videos and doing that, because dude's smart when it comes to like Legos, like Lego techniques and stuff like that. So that's what I used.
Oh yeah.
But I would
YouTube hacks.
I would definitely look at upgrading Marcus. It's like what, $65 to upgrade? I think so. Yeah, maybe 100 at most. I don't know. Has the price rate or gone up since?
Because like I'm thinking about getting a new computer, so
yeah. Well,
I'm not sure if that will count. Because I mean I get the license for life, right?
Yeah.
What you could do is you could take the current if you're worried about locking it to a hard drive. Actually, no. What am I saying?
No, it's license based.
The license, you can activate and deactivate the license depending on your machine.
Yeah, so like...
you theoretically could put the license on your new machine for Dragon Frame 3 and then upgrade to 4, I think.
Yeah.
I think that should work. Because, like, you can download the program, right? On any like, on any operating system, Mac or Windows.
Yeah,
the license is...
Yeah, so you just need the license. So, like, whenever my old laptop took a dump, I was worried about, not being able to deactivate it to put on my new laptop. But it turns out that it's license based, and if you just go onto your account and just click deactivate all licenses, it'll deactivate all of them. You can sign it up for whatever. So.
Yep. Now I've done the same with the Behemoth, my desktop, and I did the same thing with my Surface. So right now I just have a floating license. If I want to put it back on my Surface, I guess I could. But in the meantime, you got options.
Short story, upgrade your Dragon Frame. Please update your Dragon Frame.
Update anything. Well, not anything. Sometimes updates can be unstable.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Cough, Adobe, cough!
Yes. Generally updates, and I learned this from my iOS days back when I was a wide-eyed Apple fanboy. Oh gosh, those were dark times. But you kind of want to wait a couple days after the update just to make sure people don't go, "Oh, it bricked my phone," or blah, 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 or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think with Dragon Frame, I would look at the comparison of the features between 3 and 4 before upgrading. I know, like with Adobe, for instance, when they switched to the Creative Cloud model, a lot of people they stuck with, what was it?
6.
Adobe 6? Thank you, Adobe 6. They stuck with Adobe 6 and like, this works. It does what I need it to do. I'm not paying a subscription fee. So it really just depends. But generally, and on top of that, updating software also helps reduce security vulnerabilities. So definitely something to look into. But yeah.
All right.
Life hacks.
So.
No, you don't want hacks. That's why you upgrade.
So now it is time we transition again. Flawless transition. It was not a good transition. It was not a good transition. Not a good transition. It is time for our thought-provoking question of the week. Yay! Y'all need to get more excited.
I'm not clapping, Sam. That was a horrible transition. I
don't remember the theme song that Jared always sings.
Yeah, we need Jared here for that, but we're gonna go ahead and ask the question, and it is my turn this week. So I missed last week's. So if you could take any ability or personality trait or anything like that from your favorite fictional character, who would it be, and what trait / ability? Yeah.
I would like to go last on this.
Oh, I was gonna go last.
Cop out.
Okay, you want to rock, paper, scissors right now? I'm just kidding.
I'll just run with it. You cowards. I'm kidding. This probably will come as no surprise who I pick, but why I pick is gonna be interesting. And you'll have to stop me before I go into the very deep lore of the franchise.
Oh, go right ahead, man.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. This will buy you guys time to think while I monologue, I guess. I would pick the Doomslayer from Doom Eternal, and I guess the previous Doom games. I know, shocker, blown mind, no one saw it coming, but I would pick his endurance, so to say. And again, without going into like all the crazy lore or whatnot, the Doomslayer, like, he was originally sent to Mars in the first place because he refused to follow orders from a superior that would have gotten people killed. And he ended up getting trapped on Mars, hell invasion, blah, 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 whole 9 yards. What they don't go into in the early games, what they show you through the different codex entries, is that he ended up fighting through hell, was taken in by the Sentinels, given incredible power, sent back to hell. The demons tried everything possible to try and destroy him. They dropped at least 3 different temples on him to try and stop him, and the best they could do was just lock him in a sarcophagus. Only for that sarcophagus to be unlocked, and he goes out, destroys all of them again, and whole 9 yards, and blah, 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 and doom eternal, and etc., etc. But the point being, the entire time, he has everything absolutely thrown against him, and yet he just keeps going. He is virtually unstoppable. And they hint at different aspects to what drives him, in that he suffered so much pain and affliction that he does not want anybody else to ever have to deal with what he dealt with. And like, that's his singular drive to just keep him going in this whole war. At the risk of spoiling Doom Eternal, but I'll keep it very minor, there's one point where the Khan Maker tells him, if you stop your crusade against the demons, and also the Makers at the same time, we'll go ahead, we'll release you from all the pain that you've had. The pain of watching all of his friends and family die, the pain of suffering across Sentinel Prime and Hell. And he goes, no, screw you, I'm going to go kill your last Hell Priest. So, long story short, Sam is back. He ducked out for my monologue there.
I did,
But
actually.
I would take the endurance of the Doomslayer. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I would take the endurance of the Doomslayer, because that guy's gone against literally everything, and yet he still keeps going.
I dipped out because I haven't played Doom Eternal yet, and I didn't want you to ruin it for me. So
I didn't really spoil anything. If you looked at the trailers, you know the Khan Maker isn't very happy with what the Doomslayer's been doing.
True.
But yes, definitely play the game, again, unless you're like under 18, because it's very, very violent.
I mean, yeah.
But
I can go ahead and go next if Marcus wants to go last. That's fine with me.
Go for it.
Okay.
So, I thought about this all week, and I was originally going to say Nathan Drake's sarcastic remarks, but as much as I want those, I don't know how those would be good in a workplace. So I gotta go with Sean Spencer's from Psych, his hyper-observantness. Observantness? Whatever it's called. Heightened senses,
observance?
I guess.
Observant abilities?
Yeah, he's able to see things that people can't, like powder on jeans. Like, he's got a very keen eye. And I feel like that would come in handy with, like video in general. You could be able to see, like, maybe that's something I need to focus on, or maybe that person just doesn't want to be filmed, or it also, I mean, it just is a cool ability because you're able to read people super well and see if they want to talk to you, or if
reading body language.
If something's wrong with them. I think it could come in handy with, again, trying to solve a crime. Not that I'm a detective or anything. But I feel like it'd also be a curse when you're doing animation, because you'd see things that would bug you. I mean, small enough things. Just tiny thing. Like, you'd see a hair on there and you'd be like, that's gonna bug me. That's just gonna bug me all night. So I don't know. I'd say
that is a cool power or a personality trait.
I would say that, or his able to reference 80s movies all the time. Or
that is also a pretty good one.
Or the sidekick that I can make stupid names with. I can only pick one, so yeah, I'd go with the hyper-observativeness. Hyper-observative. There we go.
Sam, don't be a gooey chocolate chip cookie.
Just because you put syrup on something doesn't make it pancakes.
Ooh, that is a pretty good one. On that note about him being annoyed by small things, like, he's so lax and laid back.
Yeah.
I don't think that would bug him. You might have to quickly grab a little bit of that too while you're at it.
Yeah, I gotta get with
just so the power doesn't drive you nuts.
Basically, I just need to become Sean Spencer. That's what I need to do.
To a certain degree, he's still basically a man-child.
You are.
I mean, I like to think I'm pretty confident, but I don't think I could actively be defiant against any. I don't think I'd be actively defiant against my boss. mainly because I like my job. So I think there's certain abilities for him you'd want to take and leave. But yeah, hyper observant. God, I cannot say it. Able to see small things. I would say that'd be my pick. Marcus, take us away.
So before I say mine, I do want to make a side note. In editing, you gotta be really observant and pay attention to those actors' body language.
That is true.
Just saying.
That would come in handy.
Yes, it would come in handy a lot. I wish I had that, but I'm not that skilled yet. But anyway, I believe the question was personality trait, correct?
Yes.
Or ability, I think.
Or ability.
Okay, so I was thinking of two, but I think I'm just gonna narrow it down to one. I would like to have the ability of like bloodlust or like what do you call it?
I'm sorry, what, Marcus?
Like a strong presence in the room or something like that.
Charisma? Would that be it?
I'm not sure how to.
Can we hang on? I heard bloodlust, and I got super concerned. I was like, "Oh, we found the next Dahmer."
So the reason behind this, is like, I'm very weak. I feel like people just like look down on me.
Nah.
So what?
So I'm just like,
nah.
So what character would you take that ability from?
So it's like, okay, so I'm a weeb. So it's from this one anime called Assassination Classroom, where the main character.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah. Where the main character is like super tiny, but like he's really good at hiding his bloodlust and like threatens people with his presence. So I guess it's just like a dominating presence, I guess, or something like that.
Intimidating. I think you mean intimidating.
Yeah, like intimidation. I'm not intimidating.
No.
Like whenever I'm angry, nobody's just like, he's like, oh nah, we'll just treat it as like a child plaything or something. But I'm just like, I will slaughter you or something. Annihilate. I don't know.
Not slaughter, annihilate. Yeah, I think bloodlust is not a good trait to have, Marcus. I've seen this movie. It doesn't go well for you. But I think intimidating's a good one. I feel like
someone's show I'm thinking of.
What?
It's the show I'm thinking of where they have a similar theme, but it goes in a very poor direction. Wait, it's Arrow. There we go. Every time you turn around, somebody's in a Lazarus pit and it doesn't end well.
Oh,
and eventually they just wrote the Lazarus pit out of the show. That was so funny.
Arrow got rough, man.
What was the second one you mentioned?
Arrow got rough real quick, but no, yeah. I think intimidating is a good one, Marcus. That's a good one. So hyper observative. His was
intimidation.
Yeah, intimidation. Which one was intimidation? Yours? Marcus. And then Chris's was endurance. That's what it was. From Doom Guy, Classroom Assassin. Marcus?
Assassination Classroom?
I was close.
Good anime, by the way. Good anime. Wouldn't recommend.
See, I don't like anime.
You have to try it out.
It's fine.
I can't.
To be fair, we did get you into Avatar: Last Airbender.
Yeah, but is that technically anime?
Oh, we'll save that for the
discussion.
Avatar last episode. I say it's not anime, but people could argue that it is. I don't know.
Yeah. And the last time we had any controversial anime opinions on this podcast, Josh Nelson's like, "I like Sword Art Online, Chris. Fight me." Oh.
Speaking of which,
so Josh and I were meeting in the parking lot at 9. So
I got a direct message from 4 Monkeys, Dave. He sent me. Well, let me see if I can find it. He sent me a DM and said he really enjoys my hot takes on the podcast, and he said your stories on the Frame100 podcast are the best. FYI, if you're not a cop, a pedo, or Tom Selleck, mustaches never work. Beards and goatees are fine though, but the rest are a no-go. And then he said, I also don't like Ninjago
time for you to either be
either.
A cop or Tom Selleck.
And
dang, you're killing me!
And I'm glad I found somebody that doesn't like Ninjago, because I feel like that is hard to find.
I just like the sets. I only like Ninjago when they were just ninjas.
You
Not
guys have
August?
mentioned this at one of the most frustrating times ever. So I'm part of a couple Ninjago servers, and there have been a couple things that have annoyed me. I'd like to just get one out there on the table, if that's all right with you guys.
Hey, you rant away.
Sam's just throwing up his arms. Marcus looks like, oh no, here we go. So
Rant
boom.
away.
Okay.
That's what I have something
So
to say
the
too.
Weekend Whip, the fact that there's a new remix, and I use the term new very loosely, the fact that there's a Weekend Whip remix for every season drives me ballistic, and here is why. The Fold is a punk rock band. Back before Ninjago, they had a pretty good setup going where they were signed to Tooth and Nail Records. They had 3 different albums. Their label mates were people like Thousand Foot Crutch, Amore, and Under Oath. Freaking Under Oath! They were on Warped Tour 2010, and they were primed to just set up a place in the punk rock genre, which would have just been awesome. Now, granted, the first Weekend Whip, it's a bop. I feel pretty good for them. They got a good song out there. They're getting some publicity. Really appreciate that. But since then, it's been kind of frustrating for me is that they've done nothing but Ninjago-based songs. They did a couple original ones towards the beginning, but now it's all Weekend Whip remixes. Now, and this is a part where my Ninjago fans are going to threaten to burn down my apartment.
Didn't you do a Weekend Rip?
I do not.
Never mind.
Yes, I.
Let it rip!
I know what you're trying to get at. Yes, I did do a Weekend Whip music video. But that was when it was still kind of fun and upbeat, and the official release that they did definitely feels like a bit of a punk song. It's quite enjoyable. But then they did the rebooted remix, they did the Tournament of Elements remix, and I started going, are they going to remix the same song for every season? Lo and behold, we got the Shintaro Dungeon Whip. And all my friends are like, Chris, this is a melodic metal remix. And I'm like, heck yeah! Only to realize it's very barely melodic metal. The more I think about it, we're really stretching here about the many times you could remix the same song. And again, what kills me is that their early discography, when they were signed with Tooth and Nail, was pretty great. They were on samplers alongside TFK and Under Oath. That's pretty big. So, but see, whenever I mention this, they're just like, the Weekend Whip's great. And I'm like, it's a great song, just it's not great when you remixed it 14 different times. That's my rant. I'm done.
Hey, it's okay. This is a safe space.
I
Rant
appreciate
all
it.
you want.
Well, if it's safe, we're gonna say something really controversial. How about an Under Oath cover of the Weekend Whip? That would slap. Take it back to they're only chasing safety Under Oath and have a Weekend Whip cover by Under Oath. That would be great. But we're just gonna get 1,000 remixes.
So since we're saying,
I guess I should quickly end this with, I don't blame them because they make money off of it. And making money as a band, it's kind of a big deal. It's how it's how you put food on the table and keep the lights on. It's I can respect them for that.
In the end.
So
exactly,
while we're saying controversial opinions, I got something I have to get off my chest.
Oh no.
I actually like the Harry Potter sets.
Okay.
So you picked the episode where Jared's not here to admit that.
Yes, I did, because Jared hates
so
this
do
set.
I own the first wave of 2019. Is it 2019 or 2018?
And I actually
Sam, you can't be here next week.
I chose this podcast because Jared wasn't going to be here, and I don't want to get in a fight with Jared. I'm sorry, Jared. The truth has to come out. I really like the Harry Potter sets, and I want to buy them, but I cannot justify buying them because I don't do Harry Potter animations. I like Harry Potter. I like the movies. The books are okay. Never read them. Heard they're fine. Movies are better. Anyway, I like them. I every time they release a new set, I'm like, I want to buy it, but I don't have anywhere to put it. I have a problem, guys. I really like the sets. I really like the sets.
Get some help.
I know the whole.
You can't be here next week.
All you have to do when this whole pandemic thing is over is just buy a plane ticket, come over to my place, and we can build all my unbuilt Harry Potter.
Oh no,
sets.
man! If I'm going over there, I'm leaving with that Millennium Falcon.
Fight me,
Marcus. You just
Hey,
said
there's
you're
the
not
intimidation. You're already off to a good start.
That long
Or a
pause
horrible
right
start,
there.
one of the two.
I've been caught.
No, if I come over, we're going to the Lego store. I'm buying one myself. But I had to get. Every time Jared in the Discord always talks about how much he hates the Harry Potter sets. I'm like, yeah, they're bad, but I'm like, I want them.
No. I like the suitcase, like Newt's suitcase for a fantastic piece. That was a cool design.
I like I like the Hogwarts sets. Like they're just cool builds for me. I like them, especially the micro scale Hogwarts. I want that, but I don't know where to put it or what to do with it.
Wait, microscale Hogwarts?
Yeah, the big, massive D2C one.
Oh yeah. So I was about to say something about that since the microphone is literally up to my face. I have 2 of those, I think, as well. I don't remember.
Dollar bills.
Oof. You guys have to negotiate a deal here.
Oh,
I will
Morty.
say this, though, as somebody who browses Brick Set a lot, the new Harry Potter sets are infinitely better than the old ones.
Yes.
The old ones have a certain
definitely.
nostalgia, but wow, they're ugly designs.
Especially that leak.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard things.
So what I'm really
And one
excited.
of the cool things about all the Hogwarts sets is that they all connect together. It's like the bigger, like
that's what I
minifig
was
scale ones. You can build the entire castle. Of course,
That's what
I
I
know
was gonna
nothing about the series basically, but
I know.
yeah, you can do it if you want.
What I'm looking forward to the most about Harry Potter coming up about the sets is the custom minifigures. I think they just announced it yesterday, 2 days ago.
What?
Yeah, the new custom
Wait, what do you mean
minifigure sets.
Custom minifigures.
Have you not?
Oh, you mean the collectible minifigures?
Collectible.
What did I say?
You said
Custom?
custom.
Sorry, I'm used to buying custom stuff online for Ace Brickman. Sorry about that. The collective,
That's
the
fair.
No, it's all
collective,
good.
the collector minifigure sets. Like some of the,
I also have the first wave of the collectibles for Harry Potter as well.
I wanted to get those, but I never was by a Lego store, and they never carried them in the Walmart by me. So I didn't get a chance, but hopefully I can get.
Because, like I said, the medium-sized walkable legs that were really nice.
I only have one of those, and I got it from the Disney ones from the Chipmunk. I want them in different colors, but
I have like 6 of them.
Yeah, I got
We
one
gotta have
pair
a
in
conversation.
black and then another pair that's printed with Hogwarts attire, which is fine. I mean, I'd rather have no short legs, but man, I'm really tempted to get some nail polish and wipe off that print. But
You
I'm
mean the
thinking
nail
it's probably not a
There
good
are
idea.
ones in black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I only have two of them, and the one of them has the print on it. I could probably just buy more, like honestly. But
Yeah.
and like this Ninjago film I'm working on, to accent the point that the fan fiction I wrote for this video, I know we're already going downhill from here.
fan fiction.
Was when I was a kid. Yeah, that's what my film is based around. I read like a fan fiction I made as a kid of Ninjago. It's horrible. Like I felt you can watch my soul just die across this brick film. But to highlight that it was a younger version of me who did it, I took my sig fig, I gave him those medium legs. Thing is, though, I got a point where Lloyd throws a temper tantrum, and I want him to be able to like, kick something, so I got to give him the medium legs as well. Well, if I want a scene where it's both like, young stupid Chris and young stupid Lloyd together, I only have one pair of medium legs to work with. I could probably just buy another pair, but that requires shipping and money and financial responsibility and all that. So I've been very tempted to just get some nail polish remover and wipe off the print on the other pair of black legs. But then I got a Harry Potter who he doesn't have like the detail on those legs. So it's just not worth it.
I think you could maybe find some on Bricklink for a pretty good price. Pretty cheap price. I think you could do it.
I mean, I should probably just buy a bunch because I'm gonna be busy this weekend anyway with like a mock showcasing, so I won't be returning to this film for a couple days.
Oh, okay.
But maybe I should just do that now. Is sometime within the next couple days, buy a bunch off of Bricklink, and when they arrive, I'll probably be at that scene where I need short leg to throw short Lloyd. I can't speak to throw a temper tantrum.
Yeah, and then for the new pieces that are coming out, I don't think any of them have the short legs. Unfortunately, I don't think. But they've got some.
I'm trying to pull up a picture here, but
they've got some good accessory pieces. Like they've got the butterbeer glass pieces. And I think those would be really good for like,
I noticed those.
like the beer stein mug, butterbeer glasses. Those would be really good for
That's
like
amazing.
for like bar scenes. And then they have the Marauders map, And then they have, God, what else do they have? And then they have like little martini glass. And I was like, if you were doing a bar mock or something like that, those would be perfect. And that's why I want to pick up those, like the accessories mainly.
For Ace Brickman.
How much
Ace
is it for an
Brickman.
entire, like,
Hey.
the entire thing? Like,
I don't know.
70? 80?
Yeah, something like that.
160?
I think it's closer to about 110 or 120 for an entire box of minifigures.
Yeah.
If you want to get the complete collection, you're probably going to have to pay more because the people who offer that, they go through all the minifigures and they charge a bit of a premium on them because you know you're getting one of each
I think you can
versus
actually,
getting 3 of each in a box.
I think you can buy them through Lego.
Like, you can buy a whole box through Lego, but the thing is, each one of those boxes they send directly to their suppliers, Walmart, Target, Lego Store, etc. They all have about 3 to 5 copies of each minifigure in each box. And depending on which minifigure, you either have 3 possible bags with them or 5 possible bags with them. If I recall correctly.
They stopped doing, like, the special one-ofs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're no longer doing that. The last time they
Thank
did that was with who was Johnny Depp's character in Fantastic Beasts?
Grindelwald.
Grindelwald. There we go.
Grindelwald.
Yeah, Grindelwald, I think,
I
is
have
the
it.
last time that... Oh, hold on to that. That minifigure is rare. Yeah, that's the
And you know
last
who
time they
else
did
I
an
have?
exclusive one. Mr. Gold. You have Mr. Gold, don't you?
No, I would have sold that, but I have what do you call it? The police minifigure.
Oh my gosh. I need that in my life right now.
Though
I haven't opened it yet.
You killing me here, man. You killing me. See, right there, that's an intimidation tactic. You know you have my attention now. But I will endure and not offer you all the money for it.
And I will observe, and I don't have anything else to say for
On
that.
a better deal.
Oh my gosh.
He will observe this deal. That is to die for.
Oh,
We've
we've
come
come
full
full
It's now a full
circle.
circle.
Good job, Marcus.
Oh my gosh.
Proud of you.
Wow.
Chris, you
There's
should
no
end,
better way to end this
say
podcast.
you should end it. Just please end it. You can't get any better than that.
There,
We can't
and-
top it.
And thanks for listening to this episode of the Frame100 podcast. If you have any thoughts on any of the topics we discussed today, please leave a comment or tag us on Twitter with hashtag Frame100 or hashtag Frame100 podcast. We'd also like to thank Lots of Toast for the awesome theme music. Please go check out his channel and support his work. If you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Until then, stay tuned for our next episode and keep brickfilming.